So we did two different styles. So we've got the Cora, which is our collaborative robot assistant, and we also have the RoboBox that's got a full-on robot in there. We can take 6 different machines in there. We can, the AGV will enter the RoboBox, the door close, mind-blowing. And look, we're all engineers, we all like robots and things that move automatically.
Welcome to the MTD podcast. I'm Rowan, member of the MTD team, and I'm here with Andy Dyche. Welcome to the show, Andy. Brilliant. So you're a sales manager for Zoller at the Carl Fullen Group. I'm also joined by my colleague Paul Jones from MTD, obviously.
Good afternoon, Rowan.
Yeah, thank you for coming. So, Andy, first of all, would you like to introduce yourself? How long have you been working for Zoller and what you do?
Yeah, I'm Andy Dyche. I cover the sales team here at ZOLLER UK. I've been here around 7 years, so we know a little bit about the presetters.
Fair time you've been working on it. And what did you do before that? What's your history?
So, a long time ago, I was apprentice trained, but before working at the Carl Fullen Group, I worked for Goefa on tool holding and presetting. So I've been around presetters for quite a while.
You have, yeah. And I remember you worked for Darren Oil Tools, which they employed me when I was first an apprentice.
Yeah, many moons ago.
Yeah, before unfortunately they went bust. But sad story. But anyway, we'll move on. We're going to be talking about Zoller presetting today. But first of all, what is tool presetting and why would you want to do it?
Presetting, it's the easiest and most efficient way of setting tools offline. Nobody's found a better way of offline presetting tools than the optical system. Obviously, a lot of people historically have set tools on machine via a slip or a probe or a laser, but the fact is that while you're doing that, you're not actually earning any money, and these machines are costed out at quite a considerable amount of money. If you average so many minutes a tool, then you are losing that money on that machine. And also you're losing capacity. So when we're doing presetting, we're also, checking that tools are good before they go into the machine, right first time, reducing any kind of errors and scrap components, spindle collisions, but also we're unlocking existing capacity. So there is capacity in people's machine shop floors now that they're not utilising.
And do you struggle with that argument about measuring on the machine to off the machine still? Is it because it's one we hear, I do hear quite a bit, and it's interesting to get both sides of the perspective.
Yeah, and we're all machinists here. We've all done it. I still have a 2-inch slip in my toolbox. But the fact of the matter is that if that machine door's open, then that machine's not producing what it's meant to be producing, so it's costing you money. You're still paying operators to stand at that machine, you're still paying for the electricity, you're still paying for all that stuff, but it's not actually earning anything. So presetters offer that kind of release of capacity, and your machines are still running while you're setting tools. Yes, we always get that, we've always done it this way. We're all engineers, we all fear change, we've worked this way for a long time, but machine kinematics, it's a nasty it's a nasty environment inside that machine. So if you've got a touch probe in there, you've got coolant, swarf, all that kind of stuff in that environment, whereas on the presetter, it's a nice, clean environment. You can measure your tools, we can check the tolerances, we can check that you've got the right insert in there with the radius on there, angles, we can check for wear damage whilst you're still producing parts.
But it sounds like quite a simple thing, obviously, just measuring the length and diameter of your tool, but it's amazing that small, what some might consider a small problem, has resulted in these quite large and complex, well, not necessarily complex, but sophisticated pieces of machinery to measure them. I've seen some people using just general height gauges to set them as well. I mean, obviously, there's lots of disadvantages to that, but could you explain?
You can, and height gauges, yes, they were the natural step forward on offline presetting, but if you think, we actually reduce tooling costs as well, because when you're doing a presetter, we check in run out. So we can check that the cutter's running true, which means that every tooth is cutting as it should. So then you've got load per tooth is cutting right, so you can have your optimum speeds and feeds, your quality's better. With the height gauge, you can't do that. And also, there's been a massive uptake in PCD tooling in the industry. And any kind of tactile measurement on those tools destroys the edge. So you're reducing that tool life. So these are expensive tools, and you don't want to be damaging them.
Yeah, you don't want to be having to measure your carbide by putting it into contact with another material, do you? Because it's just going to damage your carbide.
How many products are there in the range, Andy? I mean, looking out here today, and I've got to say, it's a lovely facility you have here. We're in Foxton, aren't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
Foxton,
Foston. Foston, yeah, in Derbyshire. You've got does that represent the whole of the portfolio?
No, I would say that you're probably looking at upwards of 80 models in the range from Zoller. So we can, and some of those are modular events, especially on the Venturion, but we range from a very basic entry-level Smile compact machine that we've looked at today, up through full CNC machines. Venturion model can reach up to 1.2 metre diameter, 1.6 metre long, if needs be. Redomatic with integrated heat shrink, Tribos, where then we do the tool inspection range with the Genius, the POM Basics, thread
So you guys have got a large range. It's worth mentioning, actually, we've done quite a few videos today. If you want to check them out on MTD CNC's website. Do you remember which models we covered in our videos?
So today we covered the Smile Compact for entry-level quick presetting, the Smile Pilot 1, which is it's a big core product for us. It's seen a big uptake in the UK market. And then we carried on in the Smile 420 range on a full CNC machine with power clamping and Pilot 4 software. You looked at the Redomatic with the integrated heat shrink, and also our TMS software.
Yeah.
Which are the areas of importance when you compare what you do with your Zoller products compared to the competition that are offering a similar service? Which areas within the presetting are critical? Is it the software? Is it the
Yeah, I think for us it's a number of factors. Zoller are well renowned for their innovation. We are best in class product. We're always at that, thinking that next step forward. So when people do approach us, so for instance, the big buzzword everybody's on is Industry 4.0. So we have a lot of people come to us at shows on the stand and say, look, when are you ready? Can you look at robots? Can you look at AGVs? Can you look at automation? Well, we've already got it. So it's a bit of a moot point. We're always working ahead of where we should be. But I think build quality we're renowned for. We've got our machines are on shop floor and they last. We've got machines out in the field that are 19, 20 years old, still measuring to 2 microns. So, they are built to last. But I think one of the big ones that's we have, and it is an advantage, and I think we're pretty unique in this market today, is the level of support that Zoller UK can offer this business. So we've got a UK base. We're backed up by a sales team, a service team, an applications team. So we have that support, and I think it's a bit underrated, really, that the UK business requires UK support. And support is what sells your second machine and your third machine.
What would support look like? I mean, when you talk about support from a machine tool, you're talking about if it breaks down, you've got an engineer there the next day. If you can't make a particular part and you need a new strategy, you can phone up an applications guys. How does that support manifest itself?
Yeah, and all of the above, that still counts. We have service level agreements that allow that they can have a service and calibration. You've got application support. We can give you additional training if you do have a breakdown, which is unfortunate, but things happen. Then we've got a service team to back that up, but also the sales team are tasked with visiting existing users. So we'll call in if we're in territory and make sure that everybody's happy and using the machine to its potential, because you've spent some money on a presetter, you need to get the most out of it. And that's a no cost for everybody. So that, it's one of the easiest visits we ever make, but we like using our machine. We're very proud of the systems that we sell. And
you can probably show them a few things as well. You showed me a few things today.
Well, I think it's important. If you go in and someone's struggling with a specific tool, but we can go in there and add that value into the business, even moving forward, and get that working. A lot of our existing customers come back to us for a second machine when they've bought capacity, which proves that the support system we've put in place is working.
So is often one machine not enough?
No, it grows. Sometimes you'll go
is there a relative number? It's one machine of yours to 4 machines in a machine shop, or
no? Everybody seems to be different. So we can go and we can put a machine in one shop, and that'll do them forever. And that's fine. But they're still just as important to us as everybody else. So we'll still go and visit them and make sure that they're using that machine. Some customers then will reach capacity and it's full. It's always, there's a queue at the presetter. You've created a bottleneck there. And then they'll have a second machine, maybe in a different area of the shop, just to split that workload out. Some of the bigger users, the OEMs that we supply, they might say that each cell's going to have its own presetter to give security. So it really is down to the individual customers, and that's something that we always pride ourselves on in making sure that when you put a machine into somewhere, it suits them, not just now. So we're answering challenges now, but that same piece of equipment can grow with the company.
Meaning that it can grow. I've noticed how modular, especially the Smile 420 series was, Can you offer, I mean, obviously someone maybe who buys one today might not want the CNC aspect, for example, but wants to grow into it. Do you try and offer that people can grow incrementally with the same presetter as well?
In certain areas, there's some options on there that are factory fit. So, like for instance, full CNC machines, you're not going to retrofit that in a shop floor environment. But we do offer trade-ins and trade-in, trade-up. So if a customer after 2 or 3 years has decided that yes, we should have gone for this method of measuring tools, then yeah, they come and talk to us, and we can offer them a trade-in, trade-up on that existing machine.
The technology is a big part of everything that we talk about, and where is the future in this? And I think it's probably in one of the words that you mentioned, AGVs. How does this fit? Do you have any of these out there that are people moving?
Yeah,
and what is an AGV for those that don't?
Yeah, so an automated guided vehicle is a trolley that's robotised, if you like. So we've all seen the tool trolleys walking around and everything. So yes, we have them available.
And how would it work though? Would it take tools from it would move around the machine shop?
Yeah, so gone are the days the original AGVs used to follow wires that were laid into the floor, and off they'd go and run around that. Things have come on quite a long way even from then, so these are programmable now. All our AGVs have 360-degree sensors on, so if somebody stands in front of one now, it will wait until you move out of the way. If there's a blockage that's not moving, it's had the shop floor programmed in, so it knows where it needs to go, and it knows the different routes it can get there. So if something's in its way, it'll turn around and go a different way to get there.
You could do with one of those in your
Sounds all right, that.
Yeah, I mean, it is mind-blowing. And look, we're all engineers. We all like robots and things that move automatically. So we did 2 different styles. So we've got the Cora, which is our collaborative robot assistant. And we also have the RoboBox that's got a full-on robot in there that can take 6 different machines in there. We can, the AGV will enter the RoboBox, the door will close, it'll remove tools from holders.
So you retrofit a robot arm to the machine tool?
Well, no, for us, it's a separate tool setting area.
Oh.
So instead of having a tool room where you've got a man doing it, we can have a RoboBox doing that. Or we can have the Cora system, which is, I think, probably the way I think it will go in more tool rooms, where your operators are building the tools, they put them into a Cora shelf, tell Cora that it's ready for setting. The robot will then remove it from the shelf, put it in the presetter, set the length, check everything, write to BALF chips, because if you're going down an automated route, it's either BALF chip or Z code 4.0 for us. And then once it's in tolerance, it'll take it out, put it into an AGV. The operator will see that every tool's ready to be delivered. Click go, and off it'll wind its way to the machine tool, and then it's down to how
you
that
want to load it
customer
into
wants
the
to load
machine.
it in. It's either going to load it in through an FMS cell or another robot or an operator.
Yeah.
Return on investment. This is question that comes up on every piece of kit that's purchased. Is there a way that you can talk here and tell people what they could expect if they had? And I know it depends on how many machines and all the rest of it, but roughly what?
Yeah, I think return on investment's always an interesting one for me. And depending on what style of machine you've gone for, how many tools you set in, we've got quantifiables that we can always work out on. So we always average that a tool is going to take around 3 minutes to set on machine. So if you average it out over a year, some are less, some are a lot more. And that doesn't take into account looking for that tool. That's physically setting that tool. So you can add that up. You can easily work out what that's costing you in time and everything else on tools. It's very rare. Sometimes we do challenge customers to give us feedback on scrap that can be directly attributed to incorrect tool setting on machines, because it can be done.
Yeah, interesting.
Some customers do come back with that. Some customers are quite horrified when they do look into that. But that's really an unquantifiable for us.
Is that mostly from Z lengths being wrong or from diameters being
either
wrong?
or. People typing things in wrong, getting the wrong tool in there, a sticky probe, a false trigger, or somebody just getting it wrong, just doing a mistake. And we can stop that. You've seen that during our demos today, that we can stop tools from being entered into production if they're out of tolerance. We have a big saying here that it's free to scrap fresh air. Your machine tools are running. If it's wrong, we can put it right, so only good tools enter. Spindle collisions are a big one for us. If we stop one spindle collision, your return on investment's instant. It's there and then. As a rule, any of our machines, we would say, should pay back well within 12 months. Most of them in low single-digit months. But on top of that, this is where it gets a little bit tricky, and you try and persuade people that it's not just about return on investment, because once you've had that return on investment, that machine is still giving you that return on investment, if you like, on and on and on. So it's actually paying for itself, but then it's earning you money. And also, it's capacity. So gone are the days when, machine tools are an expensive hobby, when you need a new machine tool. But if you can walk into some shops, we went into a customer not so long ago and found that every 24-hour shift cycle, they were losing 11 hours production across the shop. Now, that's multiple machines, but once you start adding that up, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, so an even quicker return on investment, something like that. Final question from me, Andy. Is there any machine shop that wouldn't benefit from a Zoller? And if so, who and what and how? No. Okay.
If you've got a CNC machine tool, let's be clear that if you've got certain machine tools, they don't, you can't preset, you can't do offline presetting, on your manual machines, on your old two-axis drum turret lathes, because tools just fit into block and wedge. We have to be realistic about that. But it's not just about machining centres and milling. There's a big perception that presetting always goes along with milling. But I'm a turner, and it makes more sense to me to be checking turning tools, angles, radius, size. It takes us 10 seconds to measure a turning tool. And I've yet to find any touch probe that can do it that. And we're measuring it to a micron. So, and your machine's still running. So I think anybody that's got a CNC machine tool, I would ask them to come and challenge me, because we can give a benefit and an impact straight in there. And it's not just metal cutting. So recently we're doing a lot of work with stone industry, granite worktops, these kind of people, because we measure grinding wheels. It's tool producers, metal cutting world, any industry at all that's doing any kind of machining, then we can help.
Good stuff. Get a great answer.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah. I guess if anyone owns a CNC machine out there, then maybe you need to get in touch.
Yeah, and Andy's the man.
Okay, thank you very much, Andy.
Thank you.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you very much, Paul.
Thanks,
if you want to find out more about Zoller, you can check out the videos we've just made about many different products in the range at the MTD CNC website. If you're interested in finding out about Zoller products, you can go to the Carl Fulham website. And if you want to come down, they've got a fantastic innovation centre in Boston and Derby, so check out the Carl Fulham.
Thanks for listening to the MTD podcast. If you found value in this episode, please subscribe and leave a rating and review. Find more episodes on mtdcnc.com.